it's explicitly mentioned that this privacy policy does not apply when using these particular services. So, greetings everyone, Aero here, navigating as I join you. During the Lunar New Year holiday, I'm taking some time to address ongoing issues that many of you might be curious about. I'll be delving into DeepSeek's privacy policy to explain why it's a topic of concern. The reason I'm discussing this is that various communities have raised alarms about the highly personal nature of the information collected when using DeepSeek. If all the specific details about the devices we use, including the rhythm with which we type on our keyboards, are being revealed and securely stored on servers located in China, then we need to thoroughly investigate to confirm if this is indeed true. However, people are curious if this applies to all open source models. Feeling uneasy, they might say, "Oh, it's from China, so it feels suspicious," and decide not to use it. To get a clearer understanding, let's take a closer look. On the DeepSeek website, you can log into your account. In order to access the chat mode on DeepSeek, you will need to set up an account. In order to move forward, you need to confirm that you've read and understood the privacy policy. You will then need to check this box to create an account. If you take a look at the privacy policy, you'll notice that the last update was on December 5th, just last month. Now we need to take a closer look at the details mentioned here, as this isn't just a hypothetical situation. These services are managed by companies like Hangzhou DeepSeek AI and Beijing DeepSeek AR, which seem to have various divisions spread across China. So let's delve into the specifics and see what kind of information they are actually collecting from us. It mentions personal profile details here, such as your birth date, full name, email address, essentially all types of personal data, including phone numbers and passwords. They're collecting this kind of information, isn't that shocking? Next, they go on to discuss the various types of information we input, which includes the specific questions we asked, as well as the files we uploaded. They also talk about feedback, chat history, and every single piece of content provided to this model. In essence, they are stating that they will collect absolutely everything, which is indeed true, but there's even more to it. They mention that they collect information automatically. What kind of information? Details about your internet or network activities. And what do they do with it? Collect IP addresses. Why would they need to gather IP addresses? Identifiers, for example, MAC addresses or serial numbers. If such information is available, they even collect hardware information about what you used, and they also collect cookies. This seems a bit excessive, but if you read further, look here. It includes information like the device model, whether it's a MacBook or Windows, and even the operating system, OS. They are also collecting detailed information on how you type on the keyboard, including the specific patterns and rhythms of your typing, as well as your IP address and the system language you use, whether it's Korean or any other language. Additionally, they gather comprehensive payment information, such as all the transaction details whenever you place an order. While it's understandable that certain data is necessary for processing transactions, they seem to be collecting an extensive range of technical information as well. Although many companies might engage in similar practices, the fact that a Chinese company is doing this amidst heightened privacy concerns makes me feel a bit uneasy. Additionally, they mention gathering data through login, sign-up, connected services, and advertisements to use it for various purposes. So, how do they intend to utilize this information? There are discussions about this, and while DeepSeek indeed developed its own AI model, it seems poised to continue its journey as an AI service company. This is evident because they offer web services and their app is already available for download. Naturally, they will gather all this information to review and analyze it. For instance, Apple and Facebook have faced controversies for using our conversations through the microphone for advertisements. In a similar manner, when users engage with the service, they are informed that all this information will be utilized to improve and enhance their AI services. In fact, from the beginning, providing such information, like profile details, is part of the process. When signing up using methods like logging in with a Google account, some information is indeed shared with Apple or Google. However, it's natural for us to feel uneasy, thinking they might be gathering all our data. Ultimately, this is a personal judgment call. Some people argue against using these services, pointing to China's track record. Some people find it hard to trust, but many companies use this kind of information to provide services. So, it's important to look at this objectively. Some people might think it's a bit premature to judge these companies as the sole bad actors in this situation. When we examine where such information is stored, we find that it is kept in the People's Republic of China. In the case of Taiwan, it's the Republic of China. So it is produced on very secure servers in China. This means it is produced in China. Information from around the world is produced here. Some people might still feel uneasy about this. However, the reason I mentioned this earlier is that I want to discuss several important points in this content, all of which revolve around the privacy policy when using the app. When using DeepSeek AI services through an app or website, the policy we're discussing is in place. As mentioned earlier, many big tech companies may not utilize this information to the same extent, but they do collect basic user information to some degree. This data is then used to improve AI services. However, since this company is based in China, it raises some concerns. I can relate to the discomfort about the potential misuse of our data, and I do share some of that apprehension. However, it's crucial to understand that when we use the app or website, they do not indiscriminately collect all our information. Why is that? This was released as open source, right? When something is released as open source, it allows for the development of new models based on the existing ones, like the ones I mentioned in the video earlier. We also need to consider what this entails. Here, you can see the rules for processing personal information, such as collecting data, developers who use our open platform services. Alternatively, it is clearly stated that this privacy policy does not apply to downstream or application developments. Therefore, when using it locally or for creating secondary or tertiary products, it is explicitly mentioned that your information will not be utilized. Consequently, there is no need to worry about your data when running it locally. If there are any inaccuracies, please feel free to share your thoughts with us. Speaking of Chinese AI services, many people have reservations, similar to the concerns surrounding TikTok's regulations and the reluctance to use shopping apps like Temu. With these apprehensions in mind, I wanted to take a moment to clarify the current facts about this policy for you. Take a moment to reflect on your thoughts and please share them with us. Wishing you a wonderful new year. On the contrary, it was an error working hard.